Hope this is live. Hello and welcome to the channel. This is DG reaction channel. For the one who haven't known, I'm doing sort of reactions on all kind of topics on the internet. And in today's section, we will be looking at the Wansee entertainment channel, which is having a lot of videos animated on horror topics. So it sounds very promising. And let's look at the first video. If you haven't watched this channel, you can go on and search for Wansee Entertainment. I think this is very good channel with great content. So first one, true horror story about the lumberjack. Okay, 223,000 views. It's very nice. There's no notification. Probably none. And let's see what it has got. This is true horror story about the lumberjack. What's gonna be with the lumberjack?
My name is Louis, and I live in Switzerland.
Is it too loudly? Just turn it down a bit.
This story happened 5 years ago during the winter holidays.
Okay.
It was an icy cold day.
It's a nice house, eh? There's a couple in the house. Seems good.
And the snow was falling continuously, so we had to warm the house all day long with the firewood, putting it into the fireplace. My dad told us all the time that we should take care of the firewood. However, for the next days, we didn't do anything but just played Nintendo.
It's a typical dad with typical kids. So the kid looks beautiful. The first reaction is like, this is a good art. I think the colors is very calm and like with good levels. So you can see it's on the bright side. You can see the couches is in the bright colors, and the doors in brown color, which is calm and really eye-catching.
Eventually, we noticed late around 9 p.m. that we had run out of wood. Dad got angry.
Okay.
So, as a punishment, he sent me and my older sister to the local lumberjack who was famous in the area. His shop was located 1.5 kilometers away from our house.
Okay.
He was a really tall guy with a long beard.
Well, that guys look a little bit suspicious with so he's basically stay in a room with no lights. He's a lumberjack, but he doesn't have a fire in his house or a light in his house, so how can he see things? Alright, just open the door and see. He doesn't have any light in the house, so that's a bit unusual for a house. But I don't know, maybe this is it's a local thing, I'm not sure.
And wore a black and white lumberjack shirt as a classic lumberjack.
And I've got to say, it's good fashion. It's a check shirt with the brown trouser and the shoes and having a darker color than the trouser, which is a darker brown. And that matches with the furniture in the room, which is a good fashion, I believe. That's gonna be nice. And the hand is, I think the hands is, look at the right hands. His palm is like, the fingers is like, you've got this fingers in this direction. Look at this direction, but he's got in opposite direction. So I don't think it's a normal hands. Maybe he's got some disability, but let's keep going.
Anyway, at first he seemed very talkative. We ordered 2 bags full of wood, which were about 50 kilograms. He said, "Okay, hold on. It'll take about 15 minutes to cut and wrap everything." All of a sudden, my sister had to go to the restroom. He said that he would let her know where the toilet is, so she followed him.
Look at the hands too. I think it's actually his hand is having issues. I believe it. It's gonna be some issue with the hand. Maybe his hand is a fake one, or something is happening with the hands, obviously.
I was waiting for about 15 minutes, and then I noticed the place was silent. I saw neither my sister nor the man. I called my sister's name, but there was no answer.
Maybe the sister's got issue fighting a toilet, and something is happening between the man and the sister. I think so.
Then I got a message from my dad that if we bought the wood, then we should come home immediately. According to the local news, the police are looking for a serial killer in the village 50 kilometers from here. Dad also attached a picture, and unfortunately, he looked very similar to the...
I think, from my point of view, they actually look identical. I look at the color of the hair, color of the mustache. Actually, very similar.
The lumberjack.
But this guy is more like friendly, I think. The other guy is like serial killer, which very angry face, but this guy is more
My
friendly.
heart dropped. I wanted to scream, but then he came with the bag of wood suddenly. He was smiling, but I could feel that something was weird. He looked joyful. "Please, ask me where's your sister," he said and winked at me. "She's certainly not far away from you."
Hey, there's a blood on the head, on the neck, and the blood on the shirt. Maybe he's just done something, like he's cutting his hand or something else. Maybe he's cutting vegetable and he got a blood on his neck. But I'm not sure if that blood is going to be linked to the sister. Something's going to be doing with the blood in the sister. I'm not sure.
From you. Then I noticed the red stains on his shirt. I nervously opened a wood sack, and the pink hair clip of my sister came out.
Jesus, maybe. I think that he is actually doing something with the sister, and let that item drop down in the bags. I'm not sure.
I was full of anger. I grabbed a wooden bag with all my strength and hit the man. He screamed and fell on the floor, and I pulled out my pocket knife and stabbed him.
Oh Jesus, that's too fast. Oh, his hand is back to normal now. Oh, okay, maybe I'm not sure.
2 or 3, many times.
Jesus, it's just killed him. It's too fast, I think. Jumping to a conclusion too fast.
Suddenly, I heard a loud scream out of nowhere. "Stop, Lewis!" It was my sister. "That was a prank!" She was crying. I couldn't.
Prank? Like you put blood on the neck and the shirt as a prank? That's I don't think it's the normal prank, but maybe it's a local thing.
Think straight. My head was all messed up.
Jesus,
What have I done? I killed the wrong guy. I dropped the knife and stared at his cold body. But then I recognized that I had no time. I knew that we had to get rid of this body quickly while we were still alone in the shop without employees or customers. So I quickly looked around and found a hidden room, which was locked. We kicked the door and pushed him inside. And we were about to turn on the light in the room to find a cover, but then what I found was a huge shock. The room was full of people who had been cut in several pieces, and the floor was covered with blood.
Oh my god, that thing is not very normal for a lumberjack to keep all the different body part of people, of human, like inside or on the floors. I think there's something not right with this lumberjack, even if he's not a serial killer. Or maybe he is a serial killer.
The lumberjack was the real serial killer.
Oh, actually this...
We were so terrified that we quickly covered him with some fabric and then ran out of the shop. We ran home as fast as we could. My dad asked us what happened, but we couldn't tell our parents anything.
Why? I mean, from my point of view, you should tell the parents and say they found something in the room, and then the police would come and check it out. But I don't know, maybe it's a local thing.
Since that day, we always made sure that we keep enough wood before the heavy snow.
Should be, eh?
And I'm still
I
wondering
wouldn't wanted to see the lumberjack again if I wouldn't.
if the police found all the bodies at that shop.
What? That's the end? That's the end? So what's gonna be with the lumberjack? lumberjack. So it's okay. So basically, the lumberjack is a serial killer that have different body parts inside a locked room, and he's got stabbed by a young guy who's got his sister suspiciously doing a prank to him by putting blood on the shirt, and then the lumberjack is got left inside the room without any food and drinks, and then that's it. So what I can tell from this story is that we shouldn't stab somebody right away, that quick. Should be asking first, and second, we shouldn't do prank with blood on the shirt or blood on the neck or whatever. It's too scary and it's misunderstandable. And third, we should be keeping our supply enough for the winter, regardless of anything it is, wood, fire, gas, whatever. Keep it abundant in your house when it's winter. That is something that I can tell from the story. Is that scary or not? From my point of view at the moment, not quite. I think so. But let's go to the next story.
This happened about 4.
The true horror road trip. So maybe this is like about a group of people going on the road, and it's like they on hijacking or something else.
This happened about 4 years ago, in December of 2015. Me and 5 of my friends have our own business editing photos and videos for social media content creators. And because of this, we tend to have a lot of spare time on our hands. We used to go on road trips to a local lake that has a few nice spots to camp at, and a ski resort.
That's a beautiful one. And that's a great job that they have got, just creating contents on social media, editing videos and pictures. That's just a great job.
We usually went there on our days off. One week, the 6 of us finished all of our projects early, so we had a few days off. We decided to drive to the lake. I won't be using their real names for obvious reasons, so I'll call them Kevin, Steven, Brittany, Katie, and Josh.
Oh, that's part of my prediction is not quite wrong. I mean, it's quite right. On the other hand, they're kind of group of people on the trip together, and maybe something badly will happen to them.
Katie and Brittany rode in Katie's old sports car, and Steven and I rode.
Ooh, that's great. Great motorbike. It's a good one, eh?
On our motorcycles. Usually, Kevin and Josh took Steven's Jeep. But on this trip, Josh had just bought a new Sprinter van, which the previous owner had converted into a 2-person camper. So Kevin decided to ride with Josh.
Nice. Whoa. That's a nice van. You can actually do whatever you want on this van. You can drive it wherever you want it to, and just work like normal. Perfect.
When we arrived, we skied, had some really delicious camping food, and listened to Josh brag about his new van. It was a pretty normal trip. On the last,
did you see something that just passed by? It's like some kind of trees or stuff.
Last day, we all packed up to head home. About 2 hours into the trip back home, we were a little hungry, so we stopped at a gas station to grab some snacks. We all parked our vehicles outside and went into the gas station together, which was kind of foolish. We were in there maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and the car's door was left open the whole time. When we came outside, we had a huge shock waiting for us. Josh's van was gone.
Oh,
there was a huge dent on the side of Katie's car and another dent on the side of an old truck in the parking lot, which...
Maybe. I think probably 100% that it's got dropped. And they... Like, the robbers just broke the other cars as well to steal things. Sorry for them. The trip is like gone badly.
I assumed belonged to an employee. We were so panicked at that moment, so we immediately called the police. But since we were a little off the grid, the police took 15 minutes to arrive, and by then, we knew the chances of them being able to find Josh's van was slim to none. The scariest thing about it was that Kevin brought his work laptop on the trip, and I knew that Kevin didn't have a password set up on it. We waited for another 2 or so hours while the police searched the area.
Okay. So maybe the robbers haven't gone far. In 2 hours, you can actually ride up about, I think, 200 kilometers. 100 kilometers per hour is too fast, I think. But maybe 120 kilometers totally, which 60 kilometers per hour. So in 2 hours, they may be a little bit far.
But they couldn't find anything. They told us to go home, and they would contact us if they found the stolen van. Kevin and Josh rode with the girls in Katie's car, while Steven and I rode our motorcycles, following them very closely. We didn't stop once during the remaining 3-hour trip home. Fast forward 2 or 3 weeks later, we received a frantic call from Josh. He said that the police contacted him and that the van had been found. All 6 of us showed up to see the van, and the van had somehow been rolled on its side and was left in a ditch near the highway, about an hour from where it had been stolen. Once they got it out of the ditch and flipped it upright, the police let us look inside to see if we could salvage any personal items.
I hope that they can find the PC, even if they got broken or something, but still hoping that they can find the PC.
Sure enough, Kevin's laptop was gone, along with a set of kitchen knives that Josh had used for making kebabs. The most disturbing thing, though, was that once we got the busted driver's side door open, we saw that both seats were stained a deep dark red in multiple places, and the dashboard had slash marks all over it. At that point, we were really afraid of the van.
Okay, so maybe, so the robberies, the robber inside the van just got off the road and hit some trees, and then there's some kind of wild animals, like tigers or something, bears, come in and just slash them. They leave like mark on the seats as well, something similar, something like that.
Josh let the police take the van for further inspection, but we never heard what happened to it, or who the blood belonged to.
What does it? Just okay. I think the drawing is good, the coloring is good, and the story is a bit short than I expected. I just wanted to see more about it, like where the guys go, like where the drivers is gone. What is leaving the mark on the seats? Is that a sort of animals, or like sort of something else happening with the vans? But to be honest, I hope to see something more with the result of the vans. Who's done that with the vans, and who's leaving the marks on? But maybe that's an opening story, I think. And then what I can think about this story is that you should be locking the car when going in the trip, wherever you put it in. Either it's a gas station or a stores or whatever. Lock it carefully. And second, bring your laptop wherever you go. Bring it back, like me. Normally I have it back, and then I just put my laptop in. and then wherever I go I just bring it with me, and then just keep it safely, especially just for work, and then I want it to be safe, just that. That's what I can tell about the story. Okay. And how scary it is, for me, I think is out of 10 point of scary, on a 10-point mark, I give it as maybe 4 to 5. 5 points of scary, which is I think reasonable because it's not very scary for me. Okay, so the last story would be true Ibiza Island horror story. It's got 234,000 views, 12,000 likes, and 186
This happened to me
dislikes.
last summer.
Okay. So first let's do some prediction of this Iceland horror story. So normally if you see an Iceland, you can think about a story like this. You have a crew, and you're in that crew, and the crew come to an island, and then you're blocked inside that island. You can't go out, you can't go anywhere. You're blocked in, and the ship's just gone. And then some slashing guy come out, kill everyone one by one. Or the slashing guy have a team, and they did the same thing. And you try to survive in that island, and you try to live, but obviously it's very hard to. But eventually you make it out, and then you can survive. And that's the basic story. So let's see if that's the same with these clips. Okay. Who's beautiful one? I think probably in the Southeast Asia, maybe in Indonesia or somewhere, or maybe in Hawaii. It's very nice and beautiful.
This happened to me last summer. My best friend and I went to Ibiza for a week. Once we checked into our hotel...
Ooh, first scene, that's a not very good sign, eh? Look at the eyes. I think the eyes is a bit hollow. I don't see the actual eyes in it, and there's no teeth. So she is not very normal for a picture.
On the first day, we threw our bags in our room and drove our rented car to the nearest supermarket. On our way there, we talked about the hotel, which was located in the very old suburban part of the city.
Okay. So, seems like a very old one already. And for me, if I'm asked to hire this hotel, even if for a night, maybe I won't accept. Because this looks like a little creepy already.
It was really dirty. It just had an overall weird vibe to it. My friend was really bummed out about it, but we agreed that it wasn't going to ruin our excitement for this trip.
Ooh, there's a concert right
Later
there.
that night, around 3 a.m., after coming back from a club to the area where we stayed, we couldn't find our hotel. We were completely drunk and probably walked around the streets in circles. My friend laughed a lot, stopped, and then pointed at a tall garden fence. Through it, we saw the hotel building. It was right behind the garden, so without putting much thought into it, we tried to climb over the fence. My friend managed to succeed, but I fell and hurt my right leg quite a bit. He helped me up, and we stood in the middle of a bunch of green bushes.
Okay.
What the?
So they don't put any lights on the fence or anything? That doesn't sound quite right.
Friend murmured all of a sudden. I looked up, and there were a bunch of tombstones. We were standing right between two walls, and at the end of the walls there was a small chapel.
Okay.
The door was wide open, and from a distance, we could see that it was full of lit-up candles.
I think this is the road to somewhere suspicious. It's like they are leading to an uncovered party. It's like something bad is going to be at the end of the road where they walk through, because you can see clearly that the candles is automatically fired up.
I was about to ask my friend why the lights were on, but that drunk idiot suddenly started to laugh and walked toward the chapel with big, awkward steps.
That's not a very clever decision.
Due to my injured leg, I couldn't really catch up with him. I almost felt like puking, so I looked down for a moment, and when I looked up again, he was standing inside the chapel.
Okay. Chapel. Okay, yeah, it's actually, it's the chapel.
I took a few more steps and stopped as I saw his face look completely gray.
Shit. I think he's got like possessed or something else. Look at his eyes. It's like he's staring at something. It's not very usual for a person to stand in the chapel and staring at something directly like that. It's like he's got possessed by something and he can't control himself now.
"What's wrong?" I asked, but he gave me no response. Suddenly, he raised his hand and signaled that I should back off and be quiet. He leaned his face a bit forward, as if he was trying to see something in the room. At that point, I was really scared, so I just took as many steps back as I could.
Did you see that the light just gone off with like no thing happened to it, like no blowing or anything? This guy doesn't blow, obviously. This guy is like no as well because he's far away from it. This is just gone off.
Good, while still looking at him.
I think something bad is going to be happening with him.
Then I heard something. The sound of footsteps, maybe 4 or 5 people, was directly in front of him.
I think it's correct, like a party. You can imagine if a party or team inside the chapel at the end of the road is trying to like do something with these guys. Maybe they are like asking this guy to join them, something else.
He immediately turned around and started to sprint as fast as he possibly could while yelling, "Run! Run! Go!" I could hear the footsteps getting closer and closer, and whoever was chasing me was yelling some words in Latin. My friend caught up to me just as I was about to climb the fence.
Oh God, sorry, they got chopped. Sorry, man.
He helped me out and gave me a push forward. The footsteps were still right behind us.
They got chopped.
However, when we hit the ground on the other side of the fence and looked back between the bars into the green bushes, there was no one to be seen. No one to be heard. As frightened as we were, we glanced in every direction, looking for them, but there was nothing. We then got back on our feet and eventually went back to the hotel. Our legs were shivering.
Should be, eh? But do you remember this guy just got like broken legs or something? He's got pain in his leg. But I think when you're very hurry and you're scared of something, you forget about that and you don't feel any pain at all, and you can just keep running, and you don't feel anything. That's I think it's explainable.
My friend entered the lobby first, and as I was just about to enter too, I looked back at the street we just came from and saw 5 figures standing in the darkness.
Okay. So these guys are wearing hoodies in the tropical places, which is very hot. I think they're from an exact party that we expected.
Wore long black clothes and all stared directly at me.
Is that a cat? The eyes look really like a cat, but the teeth is like really scary.
Clothes and all stared directly at me. I got scared, so I immediately got in and went up to my room. Our hotel room was located on the 5th floor, so I looked down the window into the streets, but I couldn't see any of the figures. I remained extremely paranoid during the rest of our stay, but we never encountered anything similar. Even to this day, we haven't talked about the incident.
Jesus, it's hard, isn't it? Okay, that's a better one, see? Oops, sorry. Sorry. So I think that's a better story. It's more scary now. It's like, so for I need to turn it one step backward. So when you go to an island, what you should do is, what I think should be, first, don't be so drunk. You can be drunk, but don't be so drunk that you couldn't remember your hotel, so that you come into like an unexpected chapel and got caught by some party like that. Maybe they was doing some private things and they don't want to be interrupted by the outsiders. They're doing some sort of housing cleaning thing, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're doing some religious thing and they definitely would not want it to be interrupted by the outsiders. Second thing, you should be able to choose a better hotel. That hotel is very dirty and it's not being in good condition for hiring, for staying. Maybe at least for some days is okay, but for me, I wouldn't choose that hotel. That's so old and so scary. Maybe we don't know the age of a hotel. For the construction, it would be like 50 years, but we don't know exactly. So if it's too old, you should be avoiding it, so that you don't stuck in some bad situation, that the hotel maybe collapsed or something else. And then you should be going with friends like that. You have like two people together, so you can help each other. Maybe one of the other guys is like unconscious and you can wake him up, or vice versa, so that you should be going in pairs. And for the point of scary, I think this is a better video than the other two. So from the rank of 10, I think that's 5 to 6 of scary. That's definitely better, because I really got scared at the end of it, where they show like the eyes and the teeth. It's not like normal thing, and the hand as well. So that's what I think about the video, guys. Still, that's really good art, I think. It's a great animation and it's scary. So that's it for the reaction section. Let me know what you think about it. Is that good or not? Please let me know in the comment section. If you like it, you can hit the like. If you don't like it, please let me know which parts you don't like, so I can improve. Thanks guys for watching. Have a nice day.